Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. My name is Heather. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kids, elementary, middle, and high school age. Today I am going to be sharing my June goals progress as well as what I have planned for July, significantly later than I had hoped to do that. So let's get into it. All right, first I am going to go over June's progress. June was absolutely crazy. I don't really think that I had a full grasp of how busy we would be in June. Emma took driver's ed, but it was many hours over like a 3-week time period. Plus they were also, my older 2 kids and my youngest attended VBS for a week. My husband volunteered for that as well. And I had a bunch of meetings in the evenings and visiting family. So I did not get nearly as much stuff done as I had hoped to, and that's totally okay. When I started writing down things for June, I was not really thinking that I had a ton of time, so I didn't put too much on my list, but even some of the stuff that was on my list just did not even get touched. So I'm going to go through my monthly projects first. So my monthly projects are kind of like a big project for the month that may have just one step or it may have many steps. Sometimes I will have a monthly project and then I will also have a weekly rhythm to help support that project and also daily habits. Sometimes it's a mixture. It really just depends on the project. So the first one was Homeschool Plan and Prep, which I completed. I'm so excited. In fact, I think that this video will be going up right before we start our new homeschool year on July 10th. We do a slow start, and so my main focus usually in June is to go through all of the new resources, go through the instructor's guides, really get a good handle on the year as a whole, but then deep dive on the first quarter of work, just so that I'm really familiar with it. I like to have it fresh in my mind so that when we are doing discussion, especially with my older kids, I know how to carry on a conversation with them. Yes, so I did that. I'm really pleased with everything. In fact, I do have a whole homeschool planning playlist for this current year, including curriculum choices. If you are interested, I will leave a link for that in the description box. The next thing on my list was planner setup. This I kind of partly did. I was hoping to get all of the notes pages set up in my new weekly life planner, which is right here. This is last year's planner. This is the new planner, the Inspire vertical version. And I did not do that. I did come up with some ideas and I have some sticky notes back here that I would like to work on, but I haven't really fleshed those out. Hopefully this month I will have a little bit more time to do that. My brother and sister-in-law and his kids just went home yesterday, so we are kind of getting back to normal summer rhythm, even though we are starting school next week. Anyways, but I did decide on all of the new planners that I'm using. I have like my budget planner all set up. I have my teacher planner ready for the month, pretty much ready for the year, and I just do weekly planning there. And I did share yesterday my new planner stack for the rest of 2023 and the first half of 2024, specifically with my academic year planners, which are like my life planner, my daily duo, those types of things. But I still have a bunch of setup stuff that I want to do. I'm just giving myself grace. It's okay that that is not done. Totally okay. The next thing was VBS, which I did. I had a whole list of projects that I wanted to accomplish during VBS week. I got through a good chunk of them, but it was really busy, much busier than I had planned. Typically, I take that week off from social media, but because I had so many meetings and other things going on, I continued to work right through with all of that stuff. So it was super busy. It was a good week and I got done a good amount of stuff. I got the things done that I really needed to get done. There were some bigger home projects that I had on my list, and honestly, they shouldn't have been on my list. They are really day-long projects that had I not had so much extra stuff going on, I probably would have been able to fit more of those in, but it just didn't happen, and that's okay. The next thing was to fill out my daily habit tracker, and this was specifically for my AM routines, which is what I did. I have 3 tiers now of AM routines, depending on how much time I have to spend working on those things, and it really just depends on A, when I wake up, and B, if I have to get out of the house first thing in the morning for appointments or anything like that. This is a free printable that I have. I will leave a link for it if you're interested. I listed everything out that I wanted to do, and then within each of these, well, mainly tier 2 and tier 3, I will loop those each day. We'll see how it goes. That's part of my goals for July, is to really start to implement this new AM routine cycle thing that I have come up with. The next thing was my brother's birthday. He turned 40 in June, and we celebrated. It was a great time. We went to a bunch of different restaurants. It was a lot of fun. The last 2 things for my monthly projects, fall projects and memory boxes, I didn't even touch. The fall projects, I do have a list of them, but what I wanted was like a cost estimate, and also to get some appointments on the calendar, things like getting our septic pumped, our furnace, tuned up, or whatever they do, they change the filters and all of that stuff, getting our pellet stove looked at, and just service, like all of the normal house things that we have to do in the fall. I just wanted to get appointments, because I don't know if you struggle with this in your state, but in my area, we have a lot of trouble finding people to come to appointments. And then when we are able to reach somebody, it's either an immediate appointment or it is booked like 6 months out. So it's, that's something that is being moved to July. Memory boxes was another thing that I wanted to start working on. It's part of my legacy goal. It's part of my just cleaning out the house goal, but I did not have a chance to work on that. And honestly, I think that I may have written it down for, let's see. I did write it down for July, but again, I don't know if I really am going to have time to do that, especially since I'm filming this on July 6th right now. Okay, my weekly rhythms, homeschool plan and prep. This was in addition to my big overarching homeschool plan and prep project for the month. I wanted to also sit down weekly and work a little bit at a time, and I did that. Weekly planning I did every week. In fact, I posted a weekly plan with me, which was my VBS weekly plan with me, and then I will have a week of daily plans, I think next week, that you can see how everything went for VBS. That was funny. Garden check I did do weekly, and it has been raining and raining and raining. It is sunny today, and we had a sunny day yesterday, but before that, it's just been raining, and a lot. So unfortunately, my garden is not doing great, and you will see that in my daily habits. I wanted to get out in the garden every day and work on, picking pests off the plants and weeding and stuff like that, but it's just been pouring rain, so I really haven't gone out barely at all in June. Reading, I did most days in June. There were a few days that I fell off, and then I started giving myself credit just because I was reading nonfiction in the morning. But towards from the 19th on, I was not really reading much at all. And in fact, I am way behind on my book goal for the year. So we will see if I catch up as soon as we start school and I start doing more reading with the kids, as well as my own personal reading. I'm not sure, but I've been reading pretty much every day since the fall of 2020, and to kind of just fall off was a bummer, but that's okay. For the AM routine, I did implement a new part of my AM routine, which is to read some nonfiction in the morning. This is primarily because of my book club in my membership community. My Bible coffee plan I do every day, and it is just ingrained in me at this point, so I don't ever have a day when I'm not doing those things, which is good. So this month I wanted to add nonfiction, and then I did that most days this month. I feel like I did a really good job. And then my dailies are part of my cleaning routine, and that is to clear the floors, like pick up random things off of the floors, vacuum every day. Because we have a giant Great Pyrenees, I have to vacuum every day, and then clear the surfaces and clean off my office desk. And I did a pretty good job with that. There were a couple of days that I didn't, and there were a couple of days that I didn't clean off my office desk because I was working on homeschool planning, but I still gave myself credit because it was tidied. It was just homeschool stuff was all sitting out. So that was June. It was an okay month. I feel like it probably could have been better, but you know, we were just so busy. I was so tired at the end of the month. I just needed a break, but I still feel good about everything that I got done. And really my priority almost always is homeschooling, to make sure that I know the resources so that when we are learning and when I'm teaching my kids, I'm giving them the best education that I can. Everything else is also really important, but that is kind of my number one thing, with Emma just having 2 years of high school left. She's going into her 3rd year of high school now, so it's kind of just, you know, right in my face that I want to make sure that I am doing everything that I need to for homeschooling. So now I'm going to get into July. Okay, so typically I will set up my attending list with you guys on camera, but this month I didn't, and I thought I would, but then I realized yesterday it was the 5th and I still had not done anything for my tending list. I had done my plan and prep in my goals notebook, which was really good, but I had not done a tending list and I was getting worried that I was not going to do it at all. So yesterday it was beautiful and I sat outside and worked on this. And I feel like July is probably a little too ambitious, considering I started with like the 6th. I don't really have all that much time. I did put 4 weeks on here because I have done some things in my weekly rhythms already. All right, so let's go through the monthly projects. The first thing on the list is fall projects, cost and schedule. I need to do that. Again, I just talked about that. I listed them out already. I just need to touch base with my husband because he typically makes those appointments. I just want to get them on my calendar so that I know when they are going to be here so that I am here. The next thing on my list is Homeschool Slow Start, which is going to be July 10th. Again, I said that we do a slow start every year. It just works out great for us. I will have a video soon about how to implement a slow start. I know that we are a lot earlier than a lot of other homeschoolers, but this gives us the opportunity to focus on interest-led projects and mainly take off from traditional curriculum from Thanksgiving to New Year's. And my kids, I ask them every year if they want to start later, like at the end of August when all of the public school kids start, or if they want to take that break from Thanksgiving to New Year's. And they always want to take that break from Thanksgiving to New Year's. And so we start a little bit earlier, and that's totally okay with me. Back to school shopping is another thing on my list for my Creating Lifelong Learners goal, and it's kind of a fun thing too. Just my kids love back to school shopping. I love back to school shopping. We will not do that before the slow start happens. It will most likely be at the end of July, or it may not be until August. I probably should have put a question mark here, but I do have a list of things that I need to get, so hopefully we will be able to do that soon. The next thing on my list is Patreon exclusive content, which I need to create, and then also choose and read a new book club pick. I'm not sure what book I want to pick next, if they will want to do a newer homeschool book, or if they want to do something older, or maybe something not homeschool related at all. I have to put up a poll and see what everybody is thinking, but I do need to figure that out so I can start reading whatever the new book is. The next thing on my monthly projects is the ECLP notes pages in my weekly planner, which is this planner. I also want to look into doing a lunch printable. I have talked at length about how I pack lunches, or my kids pack lunches. Even though we are homeschoolers, they love having lunch boxes, and I love that they have all of their snacks and food in the lunchbox so they can eat it whenever they want. I don't monitor that really, but if it's all in the lunchbox, then they are not having to like get up and go make themselves something to eat. They instead will just take whatever is in their lunchbox and continue eating. It just helps, it just streamlines our day a little bit more, and nobody is asking what snacks there are because they're already packed. We don't do this every day, but it is something that when we are doing it, my days go much more smoothly. And so I used to have a kind of like a meal planning printable that I got from Heather Brugman through one of her courses many years ago. She has a farm now, and I cannot remember the name of her membership community. But anyways, she had a printable that kind of had different categories of, like protein, fruit, vegetables, all of that kind of stuff. And you could go through and circle the things that you wanted to focus on for the week. And I think that will be helpful. So I'm going to try and I'm using that as a kind of a template, but then I'm just going to make my own. So I want to do that. Budget and spend tracking I need to do. I'd like to have a barbecue or a fire or something and have friends over this month. We've been so busy with family visiting, which has been wonderful, but I would like to hopefully have some friends over and do some more like community building type stuff. So I put that down. And then the last thing on my list is homeschool and memory boxes. And I just want to make progress on that. I'm not trying to finish this. Even if I just get through one box, I will be happy. Again, I don't know how realistic it is because I'm starting so late in the month with my goals, but we will see. It's possible. It's possible that as we get back into a good rhythm for homeschooling, when my kids are kind of working independently, I will have a little bit more time to do that. We will see. The weekly rhythms, I have weekly planning, which I did not do this week. Part of it is because 4th of July was on a Tuesday and my family was up, and I knew that we were kind of just going to be hanging out for several days, and now it's Thursday and I'm mainly just trying to get my house back in order. So I didn't do any planning this week. Family fun, which we did already this week. Passion projects check-in, which I did yesterday with my older two, just trying to get an understanding of what they want to work on for our first 6-week block of time. We are doing a 6 weeks on, 1 week off schedule this year, with some different ideas on how that's going to work. But during our 6 weeks, we're also going to have 1 day a week where we focus more on our passion projects instead of on the traditional curriculum. I think that it's still going to be a thing where my older two are doing foreign language. Emma's in Spanish 3, Jack is doing Japanese 1, and then also probably math. And then the rest of the day will be spent on passion projects. We'll see how it goes. Again, that's why we have this slow start, to kind of get a feel for how long things are going to take and where we need to spend more time and how we want to structure our weeks as a whole. Because I ask my kids a lot and I get their input a lot for our rhythm, because I want it to work for them. I don't want them to be overwhelmed because I'm trying to speed through things, or overwhelmed because they don't feel like they have enough time to do the things that they want as well. Anyways, so I did that already this week, but I want to make sure that I'm checking in weekly with them. Passion projects are kind of goal focused as well. So I really work with my kids, mainly my older two, to break down what they want to work on into much more manageable bite-sized chunks, so that they are able to make progress and see the progress that they are making. The next thing is I want to start working on the weekly home projects. Again, I have not looked really at the home planner from Passionate Penny Pincher in quite a while. And I know that I think it's in July, they start cycling through their weekly home projects again. They have a list, and I think there's like 26 weeks, and then it starts to repeat for the second 26 weeks, maybe with a couple of things changed. So I did work on my own home project this week, and that was mainly getting the house back in order. But I do want to start looking at these things again, also the Clean Mama printables that I have that I got for free off of her site. And then I also have some other just random lists of projects that I want to start working on. So I'm going to try and focus on one thing each week. I had been really good about writing all of those down in my monthly planner, but I kind of stopped doing that recently, probably in May when it started to get busy. When it starts to get busy, I go into survival mode and just make a to-do list. And that's essentially how it's been for the past couple of months. So I'm hoping to get back on track with my weekly projects and all of that stuff. And then the last thing on my list is homeschool planning. Weekly planning and homeschool planning don't necessarily need to be on here, but it's just a good reminder for me. When I have these things to check off, it makes it a little bit easier for me. It makes me more accountable to it. I'm not sure. I just like checking boxes, so that is what it is. All right, and then daily habits, they are all focused on my rhythms and routines goal. However, some things like health and wellness was not even on my list for this year. So I stuck it into rhythms and routines, and we'll see. So I talked about this a little bit already. I have created 3 different tiers for my AM routine. The first tier is primarily my basic AM routine, which happens every day. Coffee, Bible, plan. The second tier is more it's kind of a combination of some nonfiction reading, some different Bible resources that I'm reading, not necessarily Bible study, but books about prayer, books about church history, that kind of thing. It could also include more Bible study, but at the moment it doesn't. And so I have several books here, as well as like my own personal journal, a gratitude journal, and what is the other thing? Oh, my book of 52 weeks of lists, because I'm a list maker. And so I don't know if you've seen those, but they're kind of fun. They give you a prompt and then you just make a list. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. And then tier 3 is part of my legacy goal, as well as my rhythms and routines. And so that is going to be working on journaling to my kids. I have 3 journals, let me see, that I got from Erin Condren, and I just write little letters to my kids. And so that's kind of also looped. I do not write every single day to every single kid, and I do not write every day to one kid. So that's why there's 3 different tiers, and we will see how it goes. I will have more about my AM routine and like my morning basket and all of the resources that I'm looking at soon. It will be at some point. The next thing on my daily habits is dailies, and this is those 4 things: clear the floors, vacuum, clear the surfaces, and clear off my office desk. And I like to have this reminder. It's been really good the past few months that I've been doing this. I feel like my house is more on track and staying clean. It's mainly just the main floor. I don't really touch the basement all that often, which is where we store all of our homeschool stuff, as well as the kids have a den and like video games and movies and stuff down there, as well as toys and exercise equipment. I don't really go down there very often. I obviously keep my room clean on the 3rd floor, but my kids' rooms, I just shut the door. I can't be bothered with it at the moment. They do clean them occasionally, and that's just how it is. But the dailies, keeping my main floor, the surfaces clear and the floors clean, it just makes me feel so much better. when the floors are clear and the surfaces are clear. For health and wellness, I did take this daily habit tracker and I listed out some things that I'm hoping to do each day, really broken down, you know, like going for a 30-minute walk and eating specific foods at specific times. And I'm really excited about that. I haven't really had much time, and it's been to like get outside and walk, and it's also been raining for like a month, so that is putting a damper on my mood. So I think that having this daily habit tracker for health and wellness will work really well. And then my PM routine, same thing. I have one of these is just for the 3 tiers of my morning routine, and then one is for health and wellness and PM routine. And the PM routine is something that I've not ever really done. I'm trying to do more skincare type stuff, as well as attaching it to my normal hygiene things that I do at night, so that it's not like a brand new habit that I'm trying to implement. And then also getting back into reading. The past few months of reading has been really slow for me. I'm still reading a lot of books in a month, you know, but not nearly as many as I typically read. And I would like to get back to that. Part of it is just I haven't really found any books that I want to read lately. So I do need to kind of sit down and search for some books and maybe watch some YouTube videos and see what everybody else is reading. Yes, so that is my July. I have not set up this section yet. This section is really a watching section, my weekly focus, and then big purchases. However, because I am using a budget planner now, my monthly planner as a budget planner, I'm not really putting these big purchases in. So I don't know what I'm going to put in these 2 spots, but I do want to do my watching. That is just movies or TV shows that are coming out that I want to watch. And then my focus areas for the month. Yes, okay. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, you can leave me a comment or you can email me. My contact form is always in the description box. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks guys, bye.